calm. Thank you. Connect with everything. And then Dennis said, everything you do. Well, from the perspective of the Tibetans, what you do is one small part of who you are. But in fact, in chapter 19, called From Openness to Concreteness, in fact, the real title should be From Openness to Concreteness to Openness to Concreteness, from Openness to Concreteness, and it would never end, right? That would be the real title. Does everybody get what I just said there? Yeah, it's a continuous unfolding. Life is never static. Life is not limited by the breath. Life is not limited by the body. Life is not limited, we now know, by the brain. Life is not, to the extent that the quantum physicists are now saying, may not be limited by the mind. That in fact, this is all of our gross capturing of evidence so that we don't freak out, really. Like, see there, we got evidence there, we got some evidence here. And the evidence, as we're understanding it, is inadequate. The measuring tools are inadequate. And then where do we rest? We rest in experience, to the extent that we can capture that. And what does experience say? We're going to practice it today. Experience says there is something that knows the nothing that I can every once in a while momentarily rest in. Something knows the nothing. Or we could say nothing knows the nothing. No thing, right? And in fact, the suggestion by the Tibetans is that very no thingness might be you. Now, another way to say this then is everythingness might be you. Because if you only took a side of that, right? If you only rested in the formless, no thing, what about all the form? Well, the Tibetans say neither and both. So did the Buddha, by the way. Right? So did the Buddha. He avoided this kind of question often. He felt people could not understand it. He was correct. Then he felt, well, if you could practice enough, you could maybe come to capture a momentary flash or glimpse of the reality that there is form, the formless, and that which holds everything. Okay, so I'm not going to get more metaphysical, mystical than that, because the Buddha did not. He said it's a waste of time to contemplate that which is unfathomable, ineffable, unspeakable. Those were his words. Do you get what I mean? So then if I asked you all to write down a definition of love, you would give me your best shot, wouldn't you? And it wouldn't come close, would it? To the reality of what you know, sense, see, right? You couldn't, there'd be no words. You could, if you wrote every word, it would be ultimately inadequate. And so Pema says, since every moment is an opportunity to awaken, why not use these moments to awaken also? The moments where we are not only, the Tibetans say, awake, but asleep. The moments we are not only dreaming, but tasking. The moments really, could we use every moment and then see clearly in every moment the three kayas was written in this book. Anybody remember that word kaya? It looks a little like kayak without the last K, kaya. It's at the end there. We're going to talk a little about that. The kayas are these, well, the translation is, I think, gross, called bodies. I think something would be better, essence feels a little better to me, because that body thing again, right, solidifies everything, concretizes. I think essences or something might work better. But it says there are 3 essential essences. And of course, this is funny too, because of course we could break it down and break it down and break it down from open to concrete. And it says the 3 kayas then are Dharma kaya, Sambhoga kaya, and Nirmana kaya. And the one we walk around the most in is Nirmana kaya, the physical formed, contact oriented, sense door oriented, right, self. I'm sitting here, I'm looking at Libby, she's nodding, I see a nod, right? I see the colors she is on. I have also a sense of her, not only this moment, I have a sense of Libby throughout many, many years now, since birth, really. And then that would be the Sambhoga kaya, some energetics. I've got memories, history, other things that shape this, even this one hit, this one contact with her is not its standalone, is it? It's attached to every other sense I have of her, even if I couldn't recollect them all. Wouldn't even be required. I have an energetic sense. I love her. I care about her. I want her happiness. Right. That Sambhoga kaya. And then there is the Dharma kaya, the space that holds everything, the spaciousness around which I hold not only then Libby, but what? Every other experience, every other, and the space itself, and the space itself. And then the Tibetans go on further to say, we're continuously in all of those. It's just one big tumble of blah, 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 blah. We're going from seeing to sensing, right? We call it seeing consciousness. It hits the eye door. We actually have a contact with it in some way. That's right, form. And then we have what? An impression, a perception. And then we have what? A felt sense, right? Something comes. And we're going to read Anam Tubten, who is one of Pema's teachers, somebody she has deep regard for, wrote this poem. I had never read this before. I accidentally found it this morning on Facebook. I don't know how this stuff happens. I don't even know why I was on Facebook, because I don't read Facebook. But I went, oh, I thought there's another poem by Rumi, and here's Anam Tubten, a Tibetan, better still with this perspective. I want to read it, and then we will prepare to sit. We're going to be then making contact today with form and the formless, with that which is or experienced as arising within that which is always already right here, that spacious, formless, colorless, birthless, and deathless realm, Dharma. Kaya, bless you, Libby. Here we go. Beyond mind. So let's get prepared to sit. I'm going to be loosening up my neck a little bit here while we do it. Beyond mind. Isn't that fabulous? Isn't that how we started? Yeah, beyond mind. So here it is. A Buddha sat before a sermon without words, pure silence and a smile. There are no isms in that silence. No words can describe it. No philosophy can capture it. The nihilist, the eternalist, what do they know anyway? When mind stops, there is great peace. It goes beyond knowing, and not knowing. It doesn't belong to anyone. Love pours out of it. Compassion flows from it. Hold a rose flower. Its beauty is free. Gaze upon it and put aside your ideologies. Be enchanted by it. Be speechless. It will show you the beauty of life. This fragile flower, you must hold it gently. Don't say it is good or bad. Let it reveal its magic to you. Soon it will decay. Let's meet together in a field where there is no mind. There we can test a nameless peace. Some call it great emptiness. Right now, let your thoughts go. Take a few deep breaths and drink the nectar of beauty around you. Tomorrow, when the sun rises, remember to go outside. Stretch your arms to the sky. Give a long sigh. Let the warmth touch your skin and whisper to yourself, I am alive. I am alive. And with that, we are going to sit silently first, noticing phenomenon arising and passing. We're going to stop making a problem out of that arising phenomena. We talked about thoughts on Saturday. The thought, as we recollect it, is never the problem. We're going to rest in that great peace, letting all thoughts, all sounds, all sensation, all emotion simply arise and pass with what? With wonder. With wonder. We're going to sit silently for 15 minutes and then I will continue. May we recollect those for whom we practice and expand the net of our loving hearts to include all beings everywhere, without exception, who, just like us, want to be safe and happy, who want to have peace and be free. Alive to the great peace. Feeling that sense of open, empty, boundless space. The quality of your own Buddha nature. The quality of your own loving heart. Your awakened heart mind. Dharma Kaya Bodhicitta. The aliveness of that open, empty space. And within that empty space, there are objects. The body and body sensations. The breath rising, passing. Sounds in their bird song appearance, in the train whistle, in the passing cars, in the dog bark, in the hearing your own thoughts. Nirmana Kaya, life taking form. And returning to open space. Perfect completion. And then there is that which comes before form, but is not yet form. We could imagine then the great space as a womb. And we could maybe imagine the connection cells, the proliferation of cells, the energy even that arises before a cell, and then a multiplication of cells, Sambhogakaya. Mind in its gathering before movement to an object. The collecting of attention before its placement. It cannot be seen, and yet is a happening. And in our stillness, then, our spaciousness, in our unwavering stillness and silence, we can know those three bodies. Intention itself is the energy before knowing. The commitment to the meditation object, the body, the breath, the open space, there and yet not there. It's only born each breath. No thing to grasp, hold, or keep. And yet very alive, very present. the commitment before the action, the love before the sacrifice, Zemboga Kai. An aspiration, an energy must be present for this practice. Not only to sit at the beginning, the middle, or the end of each day, but in fact, to turn one's attention at all. The possibility for awakening residing here and then here. Never born and never dying. And so we practice thus. We commit ourselves wholeheartedly so that not only in this moment, not only in this day, not only in this body, not only with this mind do we awaken, but we do so each breath. Bodhicitta, the spark that informs life. The inherent capacity we each all possess for awakening. Cannot be seen, but it is most present. And so we breathe into that awakened heart, igniting it, feeling it, letting it be known, and we breathe it out, offering it. We could simply call it love, existing before the beloved, before the action, before the offering. It is this heart's capacity and beyond. It is available every breath, beyond all circumstance, beyond all persons, beyond all time. It is never born and it never dies. And we have the big requirement of opening to it every breath, where it does not take form or life, it does not have energy, it does not heal. It must be called up. With each in-breath, we ignite it. With each out-breath, we offer it. The great peace. The reality of interbeing, interconnectedness, all thingness and no thingness. And then we smile. You don't even have to understand it to be it, to live it, to breathe it. And may this practice be of benefit this very day. May it be filled with your love. And then you put your hands together and bow to the truth, to the Dharma of the present moment, or as was invoked in the poem, you can open your hands wide to the sky. So could you sense those different, we'll just call them qualities or experience, or can you get a little bit of a felt sense? You can, can't you? Yeah, of course you can. You're capable of this. You are capable of this. And it was the Buddha himself. Of course, not only, we have many great wise ones, right? That said, without you, this is not possible. Hmm. Hmm. That gives us a charge, doesn't it? Without you, this is not possible. Oh, so I've got my planner all filled for the day. With what? I don't know. I don't know. All kinds of ways for then being present and loving. Infinite ways, ways I can't even imagine. Right? And then be depressed about what? What? What could it be if you are awake? The infinite ways, then we are going to live love. And what gets in your way? There is no belief required, so don't give me that. What is it? What gets in your way? The stories, Libby said, the stories of my not enoughness, the stories of my separation, the stories of my, right, uh, being stuck or not sufficient or can't get it right, or is it ever true? No, it's never true. You're only going to do what you can do. And by the way, somebody else will do something else. That doesn't make it better or worse. That just makes it what they can do. My grandmother's version of love was cutting the crust off my toast. I thought that was pretty radical. Nobody took that kind of attention in my life up to that point. She powdered the bed before I got in it. Oh my God. Radical act of love. Now, I don't think she thought much of it, and that's a shame. That's a shame that she didn't know that some 60 plus years later, I'd be talking about that. Hmm? Look at the potency of that, right? So that flower, that smile, that hug, that bow, it all matters. And we don't even have to know yet. We don't have to know what form it's going to take. In fact, I think it's a little more exciting. Like, what are the infinite ways I'm going to discover today that I can't even know? I do not even know that possibility. It's bigger than anything I could think. Thank you for those, oh, such beautiful images, Siobhan. Thank you. Those are stunning. Thank you also for the birthday wishes. My birthday is Friday. Very excited. My husband's first birthday was Sunday, the same year. We were enwombed together. Although his mother said he was born at 7 months, though he was exactly my weight, 7 pounds, 12 ounces. I don't think so, but I do understand how that happened, right? I do understand how that happened. Happened as well for my 17-year-old mother, who was 18, of course, when I was born. There are no coincidences. Very, very certainly accurate. And we do not know is also true. We do not see the interconnectedness, the Indra's net of everything often. We capture it, don't we, finally, in a moment, we go, oh, wow, that, and you can feel it, can't you? That of that Sambhogakaya, the infinite forces of energy that came together. And then we call it things like synchronicity and kismet and God, all of them beautiful. And we know already that they are ineffable, is beyond any language. So we don't even have to try. I love this phrase. I say to myself regularly, is it true that all is not well in this moment? Yes, beautiful. It is always true that it is well, and it is always true that it is momentary. And then we go, meh, don't we? Meh, I didn't like that part. But then what do we have? This moment to love, this moment to be awake, this moment to be alive, this moment right here. And then so what to, right? And from the point of view of the Tibetans, and then again, the quantum physicists, they're very much in alignment. It says it is not limited to this body. Of course, we know this. I feel my dad's love every day. He's not alive, and very, very, very present, very Sambhogakaya. I feel the energy frequently and often. No, Nirmanakaya, I don't see him walking across the lawn, and somebody might. Who's to say? Who's to say? I don't know. I think the mystery is greater and holds more. But she knew it was love. Did my grandmother know it was love? I don't think her head knew, but I believe it came from that. I believe that is certainly true. But did she go, because I love her? I don't think it happened that way. Do I care? Not at all. It came from probably something deeper than that knowing, I guess, Robin, right? That sort of enacting this little 5-year-old, this little 4-year-old. She probably couldn't even get over that there was this little being on the planet with yeah and she could have decided somehow, I suppose is also true, to do like nothing, right? She could have, I suppose, chosen to do nothing. She was pretty pissed at my mom for at 17. She could have gone, look, screw you and your right libido, you work that out.
True.
And did not do that at all. And yes, then in some way even a greater act, because it would have been easy based on beliefs, and particularly a strict Catholic upbringing. It would have been very easy to go, look, not my problem, your problem. You handled that somehow. And that was never the case. Not for me or my mother, which was some kind of delightful karma. Look at those beautiful flowers. Thank you so much. Dennis writes, being with a group of 11-year-olds yesterday was a true test of my inner peace and just, I would say, witnessing where they wanted to go. Yeah, everywhere, nowhere. They don't know either how to really collect the energy, just like our own minds, really. Like, aren't our own minds a lot like those 11-year-olds? Really just everywhere, going and chasing balls and then running off the court and mind is the same, left unattended. And Dennis, you are the beautiful tender to that. And yes, it helps, I think, if we have a mind that is we have gathered also before. So that is beautiful. Anything else you want to say? Could you see the way life moves from form to the formless, from open space to the sound of the train, from the sound of the train dissolving back into open space, right? It is really continuous, and its movements is Sambhogakaya. Dharmakaya on the one side, Nirmanakaya on the other, the form and formless, and the movements between Sambhogakaya, energetics. We're just now, Shaimani Jain, if no one knows her from, she and Dr. Vicario have formed, I forgot their Compassionate Heart Institute, Health, Comprehensive Health, and something like that, CHI. They're really working a lot now, creating research on the bioenergetics of healing. They're spending a lot of time and energy really looking at what's the reality in that energetic healing work. And they're starting to do research on it. They're committed deeply to it. And so we know very through direct experience its benefits. So that would be Sambhogakaya, that which comes before thought, even before the action, before the being, even. And we don't give that much. We tend to believe, don't we, if I can't see it, if I can't hold it, if it's not tangible, then it does not exist. And that would be a really big shame. We'd miss a lot. We'd miss. Let me pull up the chapter, which is right there, looking at it. Let's see if I can capture it. Can everybody see that? Yeah. Chapter 19. Just know for next Tuesday, we're going to do 20, 21, and 22. We're going to cover, they're all like just 2 pages. They're very short chapters. We're going to do 20, 21, and 22 so that we can finish the book before I go into a 30-day retreat. I will likely be doing that the first week of April. So we have 8 weeks or so. That sounds like something we can easily accomplish. And we'll keep talking about that as we go. I used a lot of different colors here because they were different points. And so just know it wasn't to create a difficulty. It was really to say this is really the Dharma. And I tended to put that in blue. And these were supportive other statements. And I put that in yellow and pink. And so here's from openness to concreteness, an eternal pattern. I love that. Loved eternal. And what? The ideas about life, the ideas about between birth and death, all life occurs. An eternal, ongoing, ever present, always available, undying, unborn pattern. And here's what it says. According to the Buddha, and remember Jesus, Muhammad, and all the wise and awakened ones, all is never lost. We'll just rest on that. All is never lost. I have to remember this often, particularly when things are difficult, like a friend getting a very serious diagnosis, which just happened. Right? It'd be very easy, wouldn't it, to go, what was the point of all this? All is never lost. Why? Every moment a possibility. And maybe more now. Maybe more a possibility. Maybe more an opportunity. Maybe more necessary in these moments when things are hard and scary and confused and we don't know. Maybe this is when we really need to show up, and we are capable of this. This is because every living being, from humans to tiny insects to invisible spirits, has the potential to wake up completely. Wake up into what? Love. wake up into love. How wondrous that all beings have that potential. Yes. She goes on to talk about the bardo of Dharmata. This is the one where there is that energetic movement. We no longer have form. We don't have any of the old stuff to hang on to. What do we have? Propensities and habits. The nature of mind shows up, but not the mind itself. You have struck the cue ball, and it now is in its momentum. It is beyond now the ball. There is an energetic, isn't there, movement. It isn't even about the ball anymore. It is about that movement. It will go by quickly. In fact, the senses maybe milliseconds. And if you have not trained for paying attention, for resting in the no-thingness, for opening into energies, you are likely to miss it. Now, remember we were talking about mother and child luminosity? Remember that beautiful chapter? Mother luminosity is that vast open space. The child luminosity is the one in the moment, the capturing those few milliseconds of moment. And we train that child luminosity in our human life. Mother luminosity does not require training. It already is that. It already is resting. It already is peaceful. It already is loving. Child luminosity, these are these little beings of moment. Remember, described as a vase, and not the vase itself, but the space in the vase. Just this little collection of gatherings, constellation, I suppose we could say, of space. And that can be trained every day, every moment. That can be both awakened and actually falls back into habit, mind without that continual commitment to awakening. Here, it's propensities, it says. Those are, remember, that inclination of mind. The inclination will draw it towards its next birth in one of the realms of samsara. The realms are everything from the God realm to the hell realm. We'll read about them in the 5 worlds, or 6, I think there might be. We're all resting somewhere pretty close to the God realm. Why? We eat, we have shelter, we do not have difficulty every day just surviving. We're getting through, we're getting by. It doesn't mean we don't have a bill, it doesn't mean we don't get sick, but not every moment is one of just trying to hang on. We're all very, very close. This would suggest then, by the way, given that privilege, that we have more time, more energy, more directedness towards awakening, that we are closer and have then, for me, compelling, like, I don't have a lot of reasons not to. I have fed my kids. They ate. They were good. They lived. And I can take care of myself sufficiently and devote myself to this practice of loving. Our experience of the bardo of becoming, that's the bardo that comes after the bardo of dharmata, is said to be exactly like our experience in a dream. When we dream, we don't go anywhere. We don't do anything. The body's not running down the street or barring the door or, Our body lies asleep in our bed, but we're still able to go through very vivid, active experiences. That's the propensity. It is moving without consciousness really there, or at a level that is so subtle that we frequently aren't going, I'm going to have a dream now. That feel real because our mind projects a mental body. We can call that image, the mental body. is something we might call an image. This mental body can do all the things our physical body can do, but because it's less grounded than our awakening body, it can do many other wonderful things, like be in 19 places really simultaneously and have body shifting and take different form and right, all of that. In dreams, we can perform miracles. We can fly, which I do often, by the way. That's one of my most common dreams, is flying and then going, oops, not everybody can fly. You better get back on the ground. You're gonna, right? And I'm up in the trees and people are looking at me. It's a common dream. The situation in the bardo of becoming is just like this, because the mental body is no longer tethered to the physical. It can do amazing things. It can also come to certain insights that sometimes we are, based on our propensities, a little bit locked from seeing, sensing, knowing. And that's called now things like dream yoga, and is studied significantly. Andrew HWLHWD is devoted, a master devoted to dream yoga. Bardo is said to be more unsettling than thrilling. It would be like being on a roller coaster that's just being flipped upside down. You are not in the body. The continuous waves and movements and energies are all there. But if you have learned how to rest in that during this lifetime, which is exactly what your mind is doing when you sit still and silently, you can awaken and recognize the capacity to hold all of that and not be completely twizzled. The experiences of dying, going through the intermediate states, that's the bardo, and taking a new birth are said to match closely with the daily process of falling asleep, dreaming, and waking up. That's a little comforting because you're doing that in some continuous way, really dying every breath, every day, right into, and then reappearing, awakening. That doesn't seem quite so scary and terrifying. And we're doing it every moment because the application of consciousness, the application of intention, the application of attention requires that alive energy every single breath. You cannot for one breath go, nah, I'm going to take a break. The breath will handle it for me. No, it won't. How many breaths do you breathe a day? Like I do, don't even know I'm breathing. I mean, no idea. I only have confidence that I probably was because I'm still here when I finally wake up. Like, oh, there I am, right? Just lost in some papancha of proliferating thoughts about me, my life, what I think should be happening, what I think other people should be doing, what I like, what I don't like, how much I want more of that or less of that, or right, whatever those 10 thoughts, right? We have gotten it down to about 10, folks, thoughts happening pretty much all the time. Can we awaken beyond thought? The answer, thankfully, is yes. You don't have to get caught by the thought net. You can actually go, thoughts happening. Yes, there's only a couple really of those, mostly focused around what I like and don't like and want and don't want. But there is also that mind that knows thought and then is no longer what? Caught in it. Thankfully. I want to read this. Our five sense consciousness, ears, eyes, nose, mouth, throat, body, begin to draw one by one a nightly process of dissolution. We shut down that way. We shut down that way. Actually, body and hearing are somewhere in there. The body, we lose a little contact with the body. And then interestingly, we lose contact with hearing. And how do we know? The body scan. The body scan. People can't stay engaged with the body as they're going off. They look like, I don't know where we are anymore. I don't even know where the knee is. I don't know where the ankle is. I don't know where anything is. And then I couldn't hear her. Couldn't even hear her. Right. And then that shutting down leads to a certain kind of sleep we could call it, or disconnect. A nightly process of dissolution, we could call that death. At the end of this, we experience a brief gap, which is much like the dawning of the mother luminosity at death. It's a moment of completely open space, of infinite potential. The gap is too fleeting for most of us to notice. How about that space between the in-breath and the out-breath? That could be one of the ways we practice resting in the gap. But advanced meditators can maintain awareness while falling asleep. That's the dream yoga. Can observe and rest in luminosity. From out of that open space, the first intimations of form, that's the appearance, arise. As in the Bardo of Dharmata, that's the Sambhogakaya. I might have said that wrong. Let me hang on to that. As in the Bardo of Dharmata, these are egoless projections of our own mind. Egoless meaning not directed by mind. Appearances, right? Appearances based on what? Propensity, but not directed by you. You are no longer the director. That directorness has been quelled. These appearances are so subtle and fleeting that they're extremely easy to miss. Happens throughout the day, by the way. From here, we enter the world of dreams, where what we encounter seems to have more substance and is more real. Our mental body continues to have sensory experiences. We know this, even in sleep. These experiences don't always make sense, right? We wake up going, wait a minute, that I had that for a second. And then I woke up and went, wait, I can't even recollect that, right? It is really at that level of brainwave, beyond everyday logic. But we believe that what's happening is real, and we react to it based on our propensities. All this is similar to what happens in the Bardo of becoming. The Bardo of becoming is the Nirmanakaya, taking form. In many ways, we have a fresh start, a new life. When? Every moment. Every single moment. You have a new possibility. Can I awaken in this one? Yes. Can I love in this one? Yes. Can I recognize propensities and choose not to be led by them? Yes. This is the practice of a lifetime. This pattern of going from openness to concreteness repeats itself in many ways throughout the bardos of life as well. In fact, it recurs continuously every single day, every moment. Before the next event arises, there's a gap. That's the space in which all things mother luminosity are occurring, a moment of complete openness and unlimited potential. What if you greeted every moment like that? It is true, isn't it? It is not limited by any ideas of who we are or what we're capable of or what we believe or at all. We lean into propensities as a way of getting some kind of solid ground. And it's limiting. That's the problem. This energy almost instantly solidifies, and the next moment of our experience is born, frequently born out of habit nature. This is why people find their lives unbearable. They go, I get up every day, I just put on my pants, I just brush my teeth. And is that the point? Not at all. Not at all. That's not the point. That's just Nirmanakaya. That's just going through some motions. But what's the point of it all? To love, to be present, to be in connection, to be a resource, to be resourced, right? We could say all of that. On a very subtle level, none of our mental or emotional or physical experience lasts longer than an instant. That consciousness continuously being born and dying, by the way. There is, that's that Nirmanakaya. It becomes apparent how everything is in constant state of flux and that there are lots of gaps. That gap itself is also a part of our Buddha nature. The gap itself, not just that which is arising, but the very gapness of us. We may feel like we're experiencing a solid, uninterrupted siege of anger experience, but look closely. It's simply appearing moment by moment. Like any klesha, anger, greed, ignorance, simply momentary appearances. Nothing that is truly ours at all. Highly advanced meditators can be aware of all these stages in the process. It is true, including the movement of mind before it moves. Before it moves. In my 30-day practice, I could sense the mind in its appearance and beginning light looking. It didn't touch anything yet, and I would be committed more to simply resting in the open space, not making an appearance to grab, because guess what I know? There isn't going to be one. I will have nothing to grab onto at the time of death and beyond. Not only the end of one moment, the beginning of the next, but also the energy, the energetic in between, and you can know it. Then here's the three kayas. I'm not going to read it again. I'm going to let you guys all do that. I have discussed it, I think, well enough. They're useful to begin to get a sense of. I don't know. Here's the truth for me. The kayas. Do you need to know them as the kayas? No. Do you need to know there are things arising? Yes. That would be Nirmanakaya. Do you need to know that they are arising in a space? Dharmakaya, arising in the luminous space. And do you know that there is, in fact, movements, motions, and seeds of appearing and disappearing, even before its appearance, that it is also made of something before you see, know, hear, smell, taste, or touch it? Of course you do. That's every baby ever born, isn't it? Just seeds, right? Cells multiplying. You don't know anything. You don't know anything. And then its grand appearance. So that is this chapter. I don't want to take more time on the Dharmakayas. They're interesting. They tried to name them. I think that's worth something. The next chapter, chapter 20, is the Bardo of Becoming. This is reform taking Nirmanakaya. We're going to go back into nothing. It doesn't stay nothing because we were never nothing. We were always in that subtle field, sometimes seen, sometimes not seen, but always in its appearance. We know this about atoms, of course, so now we know it about self as well. Somebody asked me the other day, is this being in me going to reappear as me? No. No. Is it going to unfold into something from? Yes, certainly it will. Will it come back as another Anthony or Diana or Libby? The evidence is no, that everything is in its constant flux, to the extent that there is no Diana. This Diana is not the same one who started this recording, in fact. And so we don't grab on as if there was a constant ever, right, to begin with. So then we don't need to worry about what happens to me. Well, there's no me to worry about. In fact, there's only the arising and passing of phenomenon that we call me. I'm going to stop here, see if there are any questions before we do our final dedication for the day. I think we can get a little trouble if we start thinking too much about this. I think we do better when we drop directly into the experience, right? Just see, how do I arrive to this moment? There is some energy in it before thinking appears. And in fact, the thinking may come right out of that energetic arising. And then from that thing passes, and what? back into some kind of energetic, and then a new becoming, right? You know this yourself from your direct experience moment to moment. So we won't complicate it too much because that's just putting a lot more words on a thing that is better left to direct experience and practice. We're going to do entering the bardo of becoming. You'll see how short that is. It's a couple pages. This is one of, in fact, her longer chapters. Heart advice, that's we can use everything, and it can all be out of love. And then that's very short. That's like a page and a half. And then we're going to do the 6 realms. These are the realms of samsara, the hell realm, the hungry ghost realm, the animal realm, the God realm, and the jealous God realm. Even though you've got everything, you're still looking at everybody else who's got a little more. You're not even happy there because look at those folks. They got it going on. And we do that, don't we all? And that's just interesting Tibetan cosmology. Nothing. The only use of it is qualities of mind that I think appear. Certain qualities of mind. That part of us that cannot be quenched, the thirst that cannot be quenched in all of us, being that hungry ghost realm, the one that is in continuous suffering because we're looking for something else, the hell realm, filled with suffering and anger. So we get the idea. Yeah, we're going to cover all that. We are going to be here on Thursday at 7. Greg will be teaching, and then we will be here on Saturday in the garden and on Zoom at 7:30. So anything else, anybody, I will try to send that poem out, but I think you got the idea. All right, let's sit for just a minute. We want to let go of the words now, right? Whatever felt sense you got, like, oh yeah, that, let's rest in that. Because the word swirl will keep you from the truth of your life and love. It will keep you from it. Requires too much, dizzying. And so we sit. We let the words come and go. And we make contact with the one, with that which is arising that is curious, interested, open. Can we rest in the very openness? Can we use then the very breath, that which is in appearance in the in-breath, disappearance in the out-breath, and the great gap, the sacred pause, the vast open space of mother luminosity, holding it all, including that consciousness. And then we direct that boundless heart with the repetition of phrases. But more importantly, can we open and awaken that heart mind? May all beings have happiness and the causes for happiness. Breathe it, be it. and send it out. Cultivating that goodwill, that unconditional friendliness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. Breathing in the compassionate heart. And sending it out. May we all be grateful and rejoice at the truth of the offering of this precious human life to us. And may we wish for the same blessings for all beings. This opportunity to awaken. And may we rest and dwell in the great arms, in the loving embrace of wisdom and compassion, until all beings are awakened and free. Live this day thus. And may this practice then be of benefit to all beings everywhere without exception, omitting none. So be it. Thank you so much for hanging on with me a few extra moments. I appreciate your kindness in that regard always. Megan, if you could write your last name to me in chat, that would be helpful. Thank you so much. Megan, one of our new members over there with that pinky, rosy, beautiful face right there. I'll look forward to seeing you on Thursday or Saturday. We're going to be looking for Mindful All Day. I'm hoping to do that at the end of February or early March. We're going to be securing that sometime soon. I want to do that before I go into long retreat. So I will look forward to that extra practice opportunity with you all. All right, everyone. Thank you all so much. Noticing these beautiful moments and awakening in them. Let's see how we do. I have good confidence in us all. Be well, everyone. Thank you again so much for the birthday wishes. It's like a whole birthday week. Wow, that's quite lovely. Thank you all. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Bye. Thank you.